Hello, fans. Welcome to another episode of Fictional Character Motivation. I'm your host, Quan. I'm saying this all right quick. And today, we're going to be examining the Terminator and the stoicism of the Terminator. Now, before we start on to it, you're probably might wondering, Quan, are you talking about like Terminator, the android that's sent back in the past and all this stuff? Yes, I am. And just to give you a little heads up and also as usual, little movie history like I do. It was made in 1984, and you can in the first Terminator, the very first, I would like to call it a very light horror film. Because even though it may not be extremely apparent, but you can see pretty much the shots that they took that they wanted to give it a horror film slash serial killer kind of vibe in a way. Just how the shots and the darkness and how the seriousness it took. It was only after the second one, a beautiful second sequel of a movie, that they decided that this can actually be a action thriller in a way. But going on to it, let's see here. The Terminator, a cybernetic organism sent back in time to take out Sarah Connor because her unborn son is the leader of the resistance that takes down Skynet, who is the aware computer that pretty much destroys most of the human race, and then for everyone else makes cyborgs and other things that we have to fight. As a muscle covered machine that goes straight for the kill, no matter how much damage it has to take, it's pretty much has the gift of the old school killers, with a little bit of science behind it because it is a sci-fi. Had pretty much the gift during that time, which is a sign of its resilience. But there's something different about the Terminator. No matter how far you run or how many times it gets shot or blown up, it keeps coming for its target. And when its target is down, it's done. There's nothing extra it wants to do. So what can we take from this? That the Terminator is a very good statue of stoicism. Stoicism, if you don't know, is a ancient philosophy, Greek philosophy that's been made relevant for these past couple of years, maybe longer, that focuses on self-control of mind and emotion and hunting the virtues of character. So, what lessons of stoicism does a cybernetic organism have? I think I have 3 that come to mind. All of them which kind of resemble how the cybernetic organism pursues its targets. 1, logic over emotion. The Terminator doesn't get overly emotional. It actually rarely is emotional. Throughout most of the movies, there's only been maybe a few movies, most of the newer ones, to where it is shown any sign of happiness, or at least a smile. But most of the time, it's usually stone-faced. It's wanting to get somewhere, and it may have that snarl before it starts to do what it needs to do. It thinks on what it needs to do, what's needed for the job, and then goes does it. Does it. To completely reaffirm that it's logic over emotion, a quote from the first one that Kyle Reese says to Sarah Connor: "It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear." And sometimes when you really think about a certain thing and put the plan into place, whatever you're going for, you should in a way feel some kind of fear, but it should not control you. Stoicism. Emotion should not control you. At least not like that. Second is efficiency over artistry. And I say that is because, like I mentioned, and I say that because when you see the Terminator, when you see most of the movies, the only time it really gets flashy with some of its victims is if it's another Terminator. Most of the time with everyone else, it just goes straight to the point. It knows human weaknesses. It knows that if I do this here, you're gonna fall. If I do this here, you're gonna be unconscious. If I do this here, something breaks, and if I do this here, you're gonna die. That's how the Terminator works. It bases off efficiency. It doesn't need any crazy display of gore, or it doesn't need to walk all like all pretty much like overconfidently to its target. No, it just walks, does what it needs to do, takes out its prey, and then walks off like, I'm done here. Nothing else to do here. It's not really creative, but goes for what works best. The direct approach, using its known strengths using its known strengths against your weaknesses, and done. Moves on. When we go for any kind of goal, or even when we go through, life, sometimes it doesn't need to be pretty. It just needs to be efficient, or at the very basic, it just needs to work. And finally, one thing that I think we can take away from the stoicism of a Terminator is sensing pain over feeling pain. I say this because sometimes the pain during the journey we take, it feels like, it could be the end, or it feels like we may not be able to go on, when in reality, it's our job to sense it, to acknowledge it, and then keep doing what we need to do. Now, granted, there is a difference between pain and trauma, between feeling a light burning sensation from either doing a workout or from being uncomfortable in a certain situation, to causing trauma, to causing injury. And you should always know the slight difference between something that can cause you pain, something that can cause you discomfort, or something that can cause you trauma. But with the Terminator, he senses it and he keeps moving on. Another quote from the movie that's pretty much pieced off from, once again, Kyle Reese talking to Sarah Connor. And it will never stop. Ever. So, keep those in mind. Remember, learning stoicism from the Terminator is not all that bad. Just every now and then, use logic over emotion. No matter how bad a situation is, sometimes you don't really need to put emotion in it. You just need to focus on what needs to be done and go do it. Efficiency over artistry. Sometimes you don't need to make it pretty. You just need to make it efficient, or you just need to go do it. And sensing pain versus feeling pain. If you're feeling uncomfortable, or if you're feeling a little bit pain, maybe you can push it a little bit more. It shouldn't be a stop right here, but it's good to know how to acknowledge pain and to maybe push one more rep. I hope this helped out. As usual, if any of this does, please let me know. My YouTube channel is Mind of Quan, and I don't need to spell mind. I don't need to spell of. I will spell Quan, Q-U-A-N, and look for this episode, which will be Fictional Character Motivation, or FCM, that I've mostly been putting it as, with a dash, and the stoicism of a Terminator. Hope this helps out. Please let me know if this land. Please let me know if any of these videos or podcasts land. I hope you have an awesome day, and deuces.